Shalom, shalom, Mr. Brother Mausa.
Shalom, shalom, Mr. Brother. Shemawa all.
Right. And today, like you see in the title, we going into renew your mind. Salaki, I was a couple minutes later than I wanted to be. But hey, we can get this video done, Lord willing. So, renewing your mind. Now, thing about renewing your mind is that it takes a lot of work. Being different than you used to be takes more work than just being like a lot of times in the world they like to say be yourself. They like to say a lot of different things. But in the truth, according to the Most High God, right, you don't ain't no such thing as come as you are. Ain't no such thing as, you know, like Christians like to say, oh, God know my heart. And then they continue to do the things that God told them that you should not be doing. I can't have a golden calf set up in my heart, set up in my house, but I'm sitting there talking about how much the Lord knows my heart. When he clearly said, hey, don't be messing with that type of stuff. Like, you gotta understand that the Most High is a father. He is our father. You don't get to tell your dad. He tell you to come home before the streetlights come on. You come home directly after the streetlights come on and say, "What? Hey, my dad know my heart. He know I ain't mean to do it." It don't work like that. Don't get me wrong. You might fall short here and there, you know. But at the end of the day, it's all about your effort. At the end of the day, you can't teach effort. Effort can't be taught. Your basketball coach might have told you that. Your football coach might have told you that. Renewing your mind is about effort. You do what you can with what you got. So I want to get this in Romans chapter 12, and it's a topic that is big. Is very big, very important, even for me, because I got to continue to renew my mind every day. You got to understand the place we come from. You might come from Milwaukee. You might come from Chicago, Baltimore. You might come from wherever you from in Florida, Texas. And you got to understand that we were not raised, most of us, over 99% of us was not raised in the truth. So you're going to have certain things that you got to wash off of. You're going to have certain ways of thinking that you're going to have to get rid of. And it's not going to be easy. Otherwise, everybody would do it. They said it in the world too. If it was easy, everybody would do it. If making $1 million is easy, man, everybody will have $1 million. You know, if getting 10% body fat was easy, everybody would do it. But it takes actual work. How much more so with your spirit? And we just speaking on physical things at the moment. How much more work would it take to renew your mind to have a whole new spirit on you? So this Romans chapter 12, in verse number 1. I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So when it comes to being in this truth, the number one thing that should be on your mind is service. A lot of times here in America, whether it's Veterans Day, they might have a veterans discount, whatever. They like to say thank you for your service to the soldiers of Esau's army. But how much more of us being soldiers of the living God? Service got to be on our mind at all times. We don't get to, you know, do whatever we want to do. I've never heard of a soldier or anybody who is in the position of servitude being able to do whatever the heck they want to do. You know, like for example, we got this video that we got to do on a Wednesday. God forbid I'm at the club throwing money in the air on a Wednesday, and the brother Shema were all like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? I thought we had a video. And I'm telling the brother, hey, I'm out here with I don't even know her name. Thank God. I'm out here with such and such. I'm throwing money on her right now. You got to wait a second. God forbid it's time for the video and the brother Shema all is at damn church, you know, sitting there giving his testimony in a Christian church, man. Talking about, you know, this is what made me become a Christian. Or whatever other madness that you can possibly think of, instead of doing the things that we was required to do by the Most High God as our reasonable service. It says, present your body a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh. Holy means set apart. This work that you do for the Most High is going to be different than any other work you do in your life. You know, when you get off work, when you clock out, hey, guess what? That's when your work ends at work. You know, when you get done with your workout, hey, your workout is over. This work for the Most High don't stop when you clock out of work. It don't stop when you leave the gym. It don't stop because you had a bad day. It don't stop because, you know, your wife getting on your nerves. It don't stop because your husband is getting on your nerves. Whatever you got going on, hey, presenting your body a living sacrifice. Like there's nowhere in the law where it says, hey, if you having a bad day, you know, just give your sacrifice next week. You know, I know you had such and such going on. You wanted to get a sacrifice to the Most High. You had your lamb of the first year ready. You having a bad day. You know, your foot hurt a little bit. Hey, just get the Most High that sacrifice next week. There's no verse that says that. I haven't seen it. So when it comes to having your body be a living sacrifice, it's something you got to do every day. It's something you got to do every single day. So I'm going to read this again, and then you got to Shema off. This is Romans chapter 12, verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. He says it's our reasonable service. Reasonable means, hey, it makes sense. It's your reasonable service. It makes sense for you to serve the Most High after all the wrong you done did. It makes sense for you to become a whole new person with a whole new mind after you done lived your entire life, whether it's 25 years, 30 years, 40, however old you are, 12, don't matter. After you done lived this entire life the way that you wanted to live it, which was contrary to the Most High, that now that you know the truth, now that you learning the truth, whatever position you in, to give up everything that you've ever known, everything that's ever made you comfortable to serve the Most High God. And really, who's more worthy of you making that huge transition than the Most High God? I mean, he created you. He gave you enough mercy to bring you in this truth. Just think about that. There's people in the world who do not have the truth. They don't know what's going on. We see them all the time. They pouring the honey on the Christmas ham right now as we speak. Don't have no understanding of nothing. They wrapping Christmas presents as we speak. You know, they getting their ugly sweater together as we speak. They hitting the group chat, hey, my sweater uglier than yours. And yet here we are making a video through the spirit and power of the Most High on how to renew your mind. What you got, Osh?
Con. I don't know why I thought I was on mute. But all praise to the Most High, man. Might call Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. I'm going to get Romans chapter 7, verse 14. It says, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. So the reason I bring this out is the law is spiritual. So, the brother brought out Romans 12, that's your reasonable service to make your body as a living sacrifice. And, the priests, the way how they had to get the sacrifices together, making sure there's no blemishes before they even offer a sacrifice, what they have to do, they have to cleanse themselves. So for us to make our body a living sacrifice, we have to cleanse ourselves. We have to circumcise our hearts. We have to renew our minds, right? So I'm gonna bring this Exodus chapter 30. So renewing your mind it takes work. The priests, the sacrifices that they have to do, or the meat offerings, the burnt offering, the peace offering, the Thanksgiving offering, and then the offerings of the feast day, all these offerings that they had to do, it took work, you know. And then for them to even go in to do those sacrifices, they had to make sure they was perfect. They had to make sure their mind was right. They had to make sure their body was clean. This Exodus chapter 30 in verse 20, it says, when they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with water that they die not. And you don't want to die in this truth because you're not renewing your mind. Renewing your mind is not a monthly thing or a yearly thing. It's daily, actually, going into month and years, the rest of your life. So you don't want to die because you're not renewing your mind. You know, you got to examine yourself. You got to see what's going on. You forgetting stuff. You got to think about your wife. You got to think about the sheep. You know, you got to worry about your spirit. It's a lot of things you have to, renew and see if you actually moving as a righteous sacrifice for the Lord. Do you have the mind of the Lord? This way your mind has to be renewed. We in these fleshly bodies, so we not perfect. We're striving to be, you know. So it says, I'm gonna read that again. When they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with water that they die not. Right? And you don't want to die. It's people that's gonna die when the Lord come back on earth because they didn't renew their mind. Their mind is still stuck on Christmas. Their mind is still stuck on African American. Their mind is still stuck on Halloween, just the ways of Egypt, spiritual Egypt. They stayed on those standards, right? They stay on those standards of the world. They didn't cleanse themselves from all type of spirits, right? They're gonna die. They're gonna get cut down. So the Lord told Aaron and his sons, the priests, that they wash themselves and that they die not. And we know the water is the word, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So you got to continuously read, examine yourself, and see if you actually moving, in the ways of the Lord as your forefathers move, right? It says, or when they come near to the altar to minister, right? To burn offering made by fire unto the Lord. So they shall wash their hands and their feet, that they die not. Right. And the Lord said this again, twice. Right. It says, I'm gonna start up again. It says, or when they come near to the altar to minister. So you can't minister before the Lord and you're disgusting. You're disgusting. The way how your body sheds dead skin and you have dead hair, the way how your body sheds, that's how you be shed from your old mentality, your old ways, things that you didn't know, a spirit that you didn't know you was moving in. You have to shed it away. And the way how we carnally take showers, you have to spiritually take showers as well, right? Read on down. It says, when they near to the altar, so like when they come near to the altar to minister, to burn offering made by fire unto the Lord, so they shall wash their hands and their feet, that they die not. And it shall be a statute forever to them, even to him and to his seed throughout their generations. So this was a thing forever for the Levitical priesthood. And us being under, Melchizedek, Yahweh Shai, we have to wash daily. That's a way of renewing your mind. It's by the word. Let's get one more. I got a couple more precepts, so you got right. I got a couple, but I'm gonna leave it short and sweet. Right, you're gonna go to Ephesians. All right, let's go to Psalms. Salakia. Right, let's go to Psalms 119. Right, verse 9. This Psalms 119, verse 9. It says, "Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way?" Because if you don't cleanse your way, how is your mind even renewed in the first place? Right? It says, "Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word." Because the order for you to renew your mind, you have to see what's not renewed, what's filthy, what's dirty, right? I mean, you have to examine these things out. It's not an easy task. Renewing your mind is not easy, depending on how long you was in the world, or just hey, you coming in this thing, or you trying to because this truth is longevity. This truth is forever. Being an Israelite, being a servant of the Most High God, it's not a light task. It's not light at all. So if you're not taking it seriously and cleansing, this is a job that you cannot get back. Right? This is a job you can't get back. You got people, they get fired from their job, go to the temp agency and get right back in the job that they was fired at. That ain't gonna happen with the Lord. You can't, ain't no other way you can creep in. The Lord's not dealing with strangers. The Lord's not dealing with somebody that was fired and then 6 months later he comes back. The Lord's not dealing with that. Once the Lord take your spirit, that's it. Right? So the order of you to cleanse your way is by the word. So that means that you have to wash yourself, meditating, examine yourself. You know, that takes work, man. You know, I don't know how much I can say it's not a light thing, especially if you know yourself. Paul said, examine yourself, man. Know ye not your own selves. So the order to renew your mind, you have to see what's dirty. Because you look at your body, you know, oh yeah, my feet dirty, my face dirty. I got boogers in my nose. You know, oh, I'm not eating right. Okay, how about you do that with your spirit? Because you thinking and doing things in the spirit that's not righteous towards the Lord, that's not coming towards the Lord. You know, you gotta take that away. You get destroyed, man. But you gotta.
All right, the brother bringing Almighty, and I like that job reference, right? You don't get to. It's a dude in my so-called job who, um, when I got there a while back, um, he had literally came back like 6 months into me working the job, and they got this little TV screen where they show you how long somebody's been there. So I remember when he came back, it said, "Welcome back, such and such," whatever his name was. I ain't gonna put his name out there because that Edomite ain't that important. But with the Most High, it don't work like that. You know, like the brothers say, hey, you don't get to just quit on the Lord and then you kind of refill out the application and you right back in the job. It don't work like that. When have you ever seen a CEO get fired and then they get demoted to a floor employee? No, you just gone. You got to get out of here, bro. You know, when a manager gets fired from the job, they don't get demoted to a level 1 employee. They get demoted to unemployed. That's what happens to them. They gone. Get out of here. Whatever the Most High done set you up to do, you got to understand that that's the job that he wanted you to have. If you came from the world, which, like I said earlier, 99% of us did. 99% of us wasn't born in the truth with parents who was in the truth our whole life and all that stuff. And we had to learn day by day from other brothers. I had to learn from brothers who've been doing this longer than me. Same thing with Shema Wall. We got to learn from each other also. Renewing your mind, like the brother also said, is not a yearly thing. It's not something that you do every month. Okay, on the first, you know, you just sit there and just reflect on, okay, what do I need to do different? Now, that's a beautiful thing if you do, but it shouldn't take you 30 days to do that. It shouldn't take you 30 days. It shouldn't take you 365 days to sit back and think, dang, I need to fix this, this, and that. You know, imagine if you only cleaned your house one day a year. Imagine that. You only clean your house the first day of the summer. You know how dirty and disgusting your house would be? Imagine, God forbid, it's a brother or sister out there who only sweep their house once a year, who only take the garbage out once a year. No, this is something you got to be on. God forbid you take a year to wash your dishes, man. And we're using these worldly references so that the people can get it. Renewing your mind is a constant over and over. Like you gotta almost get tired of how much you gotta have to you're gonna have to renew your mind. You know, you're gonna have to get to a point where renewing your mind is just a habit. When I do something wrong, I automatically think, dang, such and such, such and such. I know the Most High is not pleased with this particular thing that I did or didn't do. You know, God forbid it take you 6 months to realize that something you did 6 months ago was something you weren't supposed to do. And that really comes from just staying in the Word and reading. The way you renew your mind is you cleanse yourself with the Word, like the brother brought out. Let me get that right quick. Hold on, 1 second. You know, I think I want it in Ephesians. Let me see it. This is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse number 26. That he might sanctify and cleanse it. I'm going to read verse 25. Right? Walk with me, y'all. This Ephesians 5 and 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. And that's a mighty statement. Christ himself loved the church and gave himself for it. He died so that me and Shemawal would be able to do this video, so that we can come up out of the world and learn the truth. Acknowledge our sins before the Most High. Tell the Most High, you know, hey, I messed up doing this. I messed up doing that. I used to be this in the world. I used to be that in the world. But now I'm trying to fix it because you sent your only begotten son to die for my sins so that I get another chance at doing what I was supposed to do all along. That's real love right there. Didn't the Lord say there's no greater love than a man that would die for his friends? Let me get that. In John chapter 15. We got to really understand what's going on. It's John chapter 15 and verse number 13. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you. You got to understand that we was commanded by the Lord, by Christ. He didn't just die because it was going to be a cool story that people was going to read 2,000 years later in the Bible, and they was going to be making Passion of the Christ movies and this movie and that movie. He didn't die because it was a cool story. God forbid is anybody out here thinking that the Lord died for our sins because he thought, man, this is going to be a cool story one day. You know? And this is why it's important to read, to renew your mind. Speaking of reading, one of the biggest ways you can renew your mind is to read. What do they say about black people? Do they say that we are people who's just always going to read? And if you want to hide something from a black person, what do? What do they say about us? They say put it in a book if you want to hide something from one of us. We're gonna keep it PG. The greatest story ever told, the greatest truth ever told was put in a book that every single one of us have seen before. We just never sat down to read it. So God forbid, now that we know the truth, you don't read your Bible. God forbid you do that. I want to get this in Romans chapter 13 because it's so important that we renew our mind, that we have to know what times we are in. This is not the time to be trying to make it to the NBA. The hoop dreams is over, you know? God forbid. No, don't get me wrong. If that's, listen, if you a 5-star, whatever, class of 2032, whatever, hey, all praises. That's a beautiful thing. But what's the most important thing above all of that, though? It's about priorities and the truth. You know, it's about priorities. As a matter of fact, I'm going to hold Romans 13. Let me get that in Exodus chapter 20. You know what the first commandment that the Lord gave us was? Let's see what it is. The first commandment out of the 10. This is Exodus chapter 20 and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's the first commandment in the 10 commandments, is to not have no other gods before me. There should be nothing that has more rule over you than the Most High and what he said to do. You know, God forbid it's anybody in the truth, your damn horoscope comes before the Lord. You know, what your I've been seeing these videos, my God, it make me sick to my stomach. And I know the brother been seeing them too. You know what holiday season we so-called in. I've been seeing all these Christians. I saw a Christian literally say that we know that Christmas is pagan. We know that it's this, we know that it's that, but X, Y, and Z excuse, whatever damn excuse he gave. Basically saying, I know God don't like it, but hey, he knows my heart. I know I'm doing something that the Most High said specifically in Jeremiah chapter 10 that I should not be participating in, but hey, he knows my heart though. That's putting another God before the Most High. Don't the Bible say that God is a jealous God? Your grandma know that. I done heard that from Christians. Oh, you know, God is a jealous God. And yet they don't move like he's really jealous. Like they're not a part of what makes him jealous. And as a matter of fact, let's get that. We're not up here just to talk like a Christian. We're here to prove all things like the Bible said to do. Let's get to Exodus chapter 20 again. And then I'm going to go back to Romans 13. It's Exodus chapter 20. So like I got to do this with one hand. All right, I'm holding the phone in my other hand. Let me set this up. Okay, con. It's Exodus chapter 20. And I believe, what is that, verse 6? Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. This is the God we serve. This is the God of the Bible. This is not Christianity. God is not some softy, some pushover that you can just do anything and say, oh, my bad, God. And then he's like, oh, it's okay. God is a God of judgment. We got to understand that. And that's why I wanted to bring out Romans chapter 13. Let's go to Romans 13 and verse number 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is a high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than we believe. Do you see what's going on in the world right now? See, at the time of Paul, at the time of Yahushua, It was different things going on than it is now. We know there's no new thing under the sun. We know that that which has been is that which shall be. We know that. However, there are phases of things that happen. We are literally living through everything that Yahweh Shai said would happen when the end times come. Earthquakes in diverse places. We living through that. Wars is like everybody trying to go to war with everybody right now. You know, people, the love of many is waxing cold every day. You know, knowledge is increasing all over the place right now. So, like I said earlier, it's not, God forbid you trying to make it to the damn NBA. God forbid you out here looking for a record deal. You worried about getting signed. And as a matter of fact, that brings me to my to another point. And then you got it, Shema. I want to get Proverbs chapter 16. Excuse me. Proverbs chapter 16 and verse number 3. I'm going to start at verse number 2. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. This is Proverbs chapter 16, verse 2. Everything you do, you think it's okay to do it. When a Christian say, God know my heart, after they just got done laying down with another man, they think that's cool. After a Christian eats some good old neck bones, pig feet at Christmas, they believe that that's the right thing to do because all the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes. Everything you do is okay, but the Lord weighs your spirit. The Lord know what kind of spirit you in. Anybody with kids should understand what I mean. I've never met a child who just never did nothing wrong. But that every child is not the same. And anybody with kids would understand that. Certain kids, they better at focusing than other kids. Certain kids, you gotta, you gotta spend more time with them. You gotta be more patient with them. Certain kids, they get it on the first try. Certain kids, you're gonna have to tell them 4 or 5 times before they truly understand what you mean. And so on and so forth. But you know what kind of child you're dealing with. How much more so with the Most High? He know you. Like I said earlier, the Most High is not some pushover, some softy. And he's not slow either. He know how he created you. He knew exactly what you was going to do before you did it. Didn't he declare the end from the beginning? If you believe that, you got to know that everything that you do, the Most High knew you was going to do it before you did it. So let's keep reading. Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 3. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. That was the point that I wanted. Here it is. You putting in all this work, all this effort to try to get all of this money, to try to get all of this recognition from college scouts, whatever's going on, trying to promote your business on Instagram, whatever you're doing. When the Lord can literally give you whatever you want, if you commit your works to him. If it be in his will to do it, he can do it. So literally the first part of renewing your mind is committing your works unto the Lord. Commit yourself to the person that created you and told you to do this instead of what you used to do. That's renewing your mind. I think it was like an Einstein quote, like an Albert Einstein quote, something like that, where it said, The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I might be wrong, don't quote me on that, but I know that's a quote. I know that's a real thing. It's insane to continue to do something the same exact way and expect something different to happen. If you want a better result, you have to have a better process. If you always wake up 10 minutes before you got to be to work and you always late to work, what in the HE double hockey sticks makes you believe that waking up 10 minutes before work today is going to be different than when you did it yesterday? Try 30 minutes. You got to be at work at 6:30. Stop waking up at 6:20. Wake up at 6 o'clock. Let's just see what happens. You know, you're always unprepared for, let's say, the Sabbath or something like that. How about on Friday while it's still daylight outside, you do your grocery shopping in, so you don't have to text around, you ain't got to call around and ask the brother, hey, you got some Sabbath food? Because all the food you got to be heated up and cooked. Do something different. I was telling somebody, and Salaki Shemawa, you got this after I said it. I was telling somebody not too long ago, I was like, one of the best ways that you can fix something is to do the opposite of what you usually do. Literally do the exact opposite. If you one of them people, and I'm going to use the job reference again, because we talking about renewing your mind, right? If you are one of those people who's always scrambling in the morning to get to work, you know, you always got to hurry up and jump in the shower. You got to hurry up and eat breakfast. You got to hurry up and get your work clothes together. Instead of doing it the morning of, why not do it the night before? Do the opposite. This is something I really want the people to try. Do the opposite of what you usually do. If you one of them people, and I'm guilty of this, I used to do this, where the night before, when you know you needed gas in your tank to get to work tomorrow, you decide, I'll do it in the morning. And any of us who know, you're not. You think you finna get up at the crack of dawn and run to that gas station before you go to work? You think that's gonna work? It's not gonna work. So what you gotta do is do the opposite. If you usually wait to the last minute, do it while you got free time. Do the opposite. That I'm telling you, y'all. I am telling you, just do the opposite of what you usually do. If you always wait to the last minute to wash your clothes, do the opposite. The first opportunity you get to wash your clothes, turn the game off, turn off baddies, turn off love and hip hop, and just go do it while you got free time. Instead of waiting to the last minute to read when you dozing off and you can barely keep your head up. Hey, why not first thing in the morning, crack your Bible open? Crack open that good book, get you a chapter in. I'm telling you, listen, y'all, I'm telling you, you gotta listen to me. You're not gonna feel like doing it. Your mind gonna come up with all kind of excuses, and of course your mind is gonna come up with excuses. You trying to change your mind. If it was comfortable, you would be doing it already. There's no such thing as a change that's comfortable. It's not real. It's not real. You think it's comfortable for people who've been eating pork all their life to now try to find alternatives to eating pork? You think it's comfortable for people who've been celebrating Christmas all their life to now have to tell their mama, tell Big Mama and them, tell their auntie that used to make them their favorite whatever on Christmas? Hey, auntie, you know, I'm on something different this year. 2025, we ain't keeping no Christmas. You think that's going to be comfortable for you to do? Change will never be comfortable. That's why you got to renew your mind. You can't go into it with the same mind you had before. It's not going to work. A lot of us was lazy before we came into the truth. You know, but now that we in the truth, we can't be lazy no more. I can't text the brother Shema all on Wednesday and say, hey, I just need a nap. Maybe we'll do the video next week. Well, what about the people? What about the people that need these Wednesday videos? What if this was somebody's first video they ever heard about the truth? You got to renew your mind. You got to understand it's not just about you. It's not about you. It's not about Mawasar and what he wants. Right? What you got?
God, all praise to the Most High. Yeah, it's not about us. I like that point he said. You know, it's not about us, man. That's why you have to make sure you cleanse yourself. See what are you doing, and if it's of the Most High, so you be able to minister to the people. I want to bring that precept out, not precept, but definition, because the when I had Exodus 30, verse 20, you know, I'm gonna get it real quick through the Spirit. I don't want to butcher it. All right, because you got to wash yourself before you minister, right? Exodus 30, verse 20, it says, when they go into the tabernacle of the congregation, they shall wash with water, that they die not, or when they come near to the altar to minister, right? And the definition of minister, right? I should go to the blue letter, but I got this one. It says, I was just looking at it. Minister to, attend to the needs of someone. So we attended to the needs of the sheep. So say if the priests didn't wash themselves before they did these offerings and they touching the holy things, and you gonna die. The Lord is gonna get up with you. Because imagine if we not renewing our mind, taking care of ourselves, our temple, our spirit, and then we going out there to teach. Every brother is gonna get plagued by the things that's in you, whether that's slothfulness, that's lust, that's an anger spirit, whatever spirit that you're dealing with, or you know, whatever spirit that you're dealing with, it can go on to the congregation, to people below you or above you. You then not gonna jam up the king. And our Lord, what made you not gonna jam him up? He in the third heavens. He good. So he don't need you at this point. He gonna shoot you off. But the order to able to minister to the people, you have to make sure you're cleansed and you know what you're doing. Say if a waitress, he all jammed up, man. He don't know what's going on with himself, right? He don't even know how to minister to the people because he haven't cleansed himself. He's still holding on. He working at Ruby Tuesday, but he used to work at Chili and they do different things in Ruby Tuesday at Chili's, but his mind is still on Chili's. He got to renew his mind. You in a whole different facility right now. You got a whole different type of job. It's the same thing in the truth through the Spirit. So if you was doing things in the world, you come in the truth, you have to renew your mind and actually keep what the Lord is saying, or see, are you keeping what the Lord is saying? So this Leviticus 10, verse 8, it says, and the Lord spake unto Aaron, saying, do not drink wine nor strong drink, thou nor thy sons with thee, when ye go into the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, and that ye may put difference between holy and unholy. How can you know the difference between holy and unholy if you're drunk? And that ain't always physical. But if you want to go to physical, imagine a brother that's getting drunk and he know he got to take his rib home, or he got to take a brother home. He ain't gonna know the difference between a red light or a green light. He ain't gonna know the difference between the right lane or the left lane. He ain't even gonna know the difference between his left hand or his right. He just can't. Everybody gonna die, man. And he supposed to take care of the sheep. He's not gonna take care of his rib while he's driving on the highway. Y'all 10 hours away. You want to get drunk with the brethren. Yeah, it's a feast day. Yeah, you having a good time, but you got to be wise, man. You can't be just having 2 cups, 3 cups. If you know yourself, you probably don't need a cup at all. Hey, man, make sure you and your family get home safe. So imagine through the Spirit, whatever you doing, you justifying yourself, you know, you have asking in this truth, you know, the Lord, it says, do not drink wine or strong drink. A laboring man that's given to drunkenness shall fall, you know, by little and little, because you steady getting yourself that leisure, thinking everything's okay. Next week, tomorrow, and you may not even do that intentionally. This is why you got to examine yourself. Now, if it's a lot going on in your life, you got offices and stuff like that. That's when you need to take a step back and renew your mind and see what's going on and organize yourself. Our forefathers was very organized. They was very organized. Look at the temple. Look at the tabernacle. How I don't want to butcher it. Let's go to it. Let's go to Numbers. Everything was in order. So if you have to renew your mind, clearly you're not in order. If you think you're in order, hey, you the elect, man. We just put it out there. Right? They just leave it that way. Right? This is Numbers. What I want. I know what I want. Right? Numbers. Right? Numbers. Salaki. Let me see. Okay. Salaki, bear with me, because I know what I wanted. Okay, come. Right, so this Numbers chapter, let's start at verse 4. Numbers chapter 4, verse, right, we just get it right there. Verse 2. Right, it says, I'm gonna start at 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, take the sum of the sons of Kohath from among the sons of Levi after their families by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even until 50 years old, all that enter into the house to do the work in the tabernacle of the congregation. This shall be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation about the most holy things. And when the camp setteth forward, Aaron shall come and take his sons, and they shall take down the covering veil and cover the ark of testimony with it. Right? So Kohath, right? They have an office to where they deal with the most holy things, right? So it's verse 4, it says, this shall be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation about the most holy things. So Kohath, they deal with the most holy things. Everything is literally in order, and you have to be that through the Spirit. Because if you're not in order, how are you going to set the sheep in order? This is why you have to renew your mind, right? And get yourself together, right? So this Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 16. It says, circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart and be no more stiff-necked. And just because, you may not be acting like Jake, he don't want to hit a word, he want to go off and freak off. Hey, but you may be doing that in his truth to brother that's been in this thing for a while, because you may be neglecting the little things that the Lord requires, and that the Lord see as a heavy matter, and you just neglect it, right? You have to circumcise your heart. That's why Paul said the law is spiritual. Everything that the Levitical priests have to do, Abraham, he believed, he circumcised himself. Hey, that's what we got to do through the Spirit. Our mind is wicked, man. You justify yourself. Best believe, if you take a years back of who you were, every day in your life, you justify yourself. You thought everything was okay. You done had to pay a bill. You said, you know what? I can do this. I can take Shorty out to eat. I think I just have my phone off. Shoot. Like, you just start just thinking it's madness. You can't do this in its truth, because the whole sheep will get destroyed, man. Right? And the Lord will send you away just so the sheep won't get destroyed. Right? He's not going to have his servants that's actually doing the work just get jammed up. Right? So it says, circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart and be no more stiff-necked. So you have to circumcise your heart. Renewing your mind and setting yourself in order so you be able to minister to the Lord and to the people. Like the point, I brought out, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do through the Spirit, You won't be able to minister to the sheep. You won't be able to set that dinner table, bring the plates, the fork, the napkin, right? First and foremost, you're gonna stink because before you even do the work, you got to make sure you wash yourself. Now you out here bringing the food to the people. You bringing the wrong food, right? They order a steak, you bringing chicken, right? They order pasta, you bringing shrimp fried rice, and that's off. When you know that's not even according to the law. Why you bringing shrimp fried rice? You jamming up, you jamming the sheep up, man. Right? Salakia, but you jamming it up. So you got to make sure you wash yourself. Then you got on appropriate clothing, right? Then you make sure they got some water. You have to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do, you know, behind closed doors, just to be able to minister for the Lord and bring up uh righteous offerings towards the Lord, right? But you gotta
I wanted to get for my last few precepts. What I want to get. I'm trying to see if I want this. I'm gonna hold this. Let's go to Isaiah real quick. Chapter 46. No, Isaiah chapter 46. It's Isaiah chapter 46 and verse number 9. Let's start at verse number 8. Isaiah 46 and verse 8. Remember this, and shew yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O you transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh, and there is none else. I am Yahweh, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. You got to understand that the Most High knows what your end looks like. The Most High knows exactly where you're going tomorrow. The Most High knows whether or not you're going to endure to the end. And with him knowing all of that, he brought you in the truth. Think about that. The Most High knew what you struggled with already. He knew you had such and such demon that you dealt with. He knew that. We got to understand. Let's stay in Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah 55. This is something that, as I grow more and more in the truth, I'm just starting to really understand. Is that the way I think is not the way that the Most High thinks. So let's get Isaiah chapter 55 and verse number, do I want 7 or 8? Let's start at verse 7. Isaiah 55 verse 7. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Is that not literally renewing your mind? To forsake your thoughts? Your thoughts might have been, where you gonna go on your birthday? Your thoughts might have been, how many gifts you gonna get this Christmas? Your thoughts might have been whatever it was. But guess what? Renewing your mind means doing exactly what it say in Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 7. I'm gonna read this again. Isaiah 55 and 7. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him. You understand that the Most High will have mercy on you by you turning back from your old thoughts, by you forsaking your old ways. The Most High know everything you done did. He was sitting there watching every single time you did it. Every time you broke the Sabbath before you knew the truth, the Most High knew you was doing it. Every time you was doing whatever you was doing wrong or whatever you was doing good, the Most High was sitting there watching. And the Bible says, not me, the Bible says Let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him. Let's keep reading in verse 7. And to our God, for he will be, abundantly pardon. The Lord will abundantly pardon. If you return back to the Lord, if you renew your mind, the Most High will be like, basically, you're not even that person who used to do wrong, whatever you was doing wrong. The Most High don't even see you like that no more. That was somebody else. But that's only if you turn away from what you're doing. How you gonna be looked at different if you still doing the same things that you used to do? But what makes you think that if you're not active, that if you are, excuse me, what makes you think that if you are actively turning back from your old ways, that the Most High won't be like, you know what? This person deserves grace. This person deserves mercy. Did he not do that to us? His thoughts are not our thoughts. See, the Lord, like the way that, you know, and I believe me and the brother Shema was bringing this out like weeks and weeks back. But you might have a sister or an auntie who been into it with the whole family since y'all was 15 years old. Y'all in y'all 30s and 40s now. Here it is, her sister stepped on her shoe at the damn family reunion 20 years ago, and now she still ain't talked to her sister in 20 years. But hey, the Most High, look how the Most High treat us. You woke up this morning and you know you did something wrong yesterday. You know 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, you was slothful. You wasn't reading how you supposed to. You got to renew your mind. You got to understand that the Most High is not a man in the sense that we are. The Most High is not emotional how we are. So let's keep reading. Isaiah chapter 55 verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Ain't the heaven above our heads? Ain't the sky all the way up there, we all the way down here? The Lord say the same way that that's true, the same way his thoughts being higher than our thoughts is true. I was watching this video, and then you got Shemo. This I'm gonna get one more precept after this, probably. I was watching this video, and the dude was saying how when Abraham was told by the Most High, I believe it's Abraham or Jacob, he was told by the Most High, know of a surety that your people, your descendants after you, is going to be slaves for 430 years. Just think about that. He was telling him way before it happened, hey, this is what's going to happen to your people in the future. You think he didn't know what they was going to be doing when they came out of that slavery? You think he didn't know how hard it was going to be for them people to let go of that slave mentality? You think the Lord didn't know that? You think the Lord didn't know that when he brought you in his truth, it was going to take you X amount of time to actually get yourself together? That even though you knew the truth, you still was going to struggle with this. You still was going to struggle with that. It was going to take you 3, 4, 5 years, however long the Most High set it up for you to take to get this together or get that together. You think the Lord didn't know that? You think the Lord didn't know about the slavery in America that you was going to go through? You think the Lord didn't know how hard it was going to be for you to stop celebrating these wicked holidays because that's what you grew up knowing? You think the Lord didn't know that? Like, we got to really put things into perspective, bro. You think the Lord didn't know? Like, I'm going to use myself as an example. When I started to do these Wednesday videos, I couldn't stand it. I have never been the type of person who was just sitting in front of a camera. See the brother laughing at me, hey, because hey, look, I have never been the type to sit in front of a camera, let alone for an hour and a half. On my social medias, I don't have a lot of pictures. I don't sit in front of the camera. It took renewing of my mind to get comfortable doing this because this is the work that the Most High want me to do. He could have picked anybody to do it. Think about that. The Most High could have picked, if he didn't pick Shema, he could have picked brother Israel from damn wherever, from Virginia, but he chose Shema Wall. Instead of Mawasar, he could have picked brother Yasharala from Minneapolis or wherever he's from, but he picked me to do it. You think he didn't know that I didn't like being on camera when he picked me to be on camera? But he didn't care either. Hey, you know, the brother Mawasar ain't too comfortable. Hey, he just gonna have to figure it out. I want him to do this work the way I want him to do it. And it just is what it is. Like I said, your thoughts is not the Most High thoughts. You gotta be, for you to change, you gotta be uncomfortable. This is one of the highlights of my week now, is to do this Wednesday video, man. The Lord's thoughts is not our thoughts. If the Lord's thoughts was like your thoughts, you probably wouldn't even be the truth right now. Just think if the Lord didn't have the foresight that he has. The Lord know what you're going to do when you're 45 years old and you still in your 20s. You still in your 30s. And the Lord already know what you're going to do 15 years from now. And yet and still, he decided that it was that it was going to be in his will to give you the grace to continue to keep going. He knew you was going to struggle with this demon 10, 15, 20 years. And yet still, he wake you up every day and renew his mercy to you. When you pray to him, he answer your prayers. When a brother pray for you, he answered those prayers. The Most High saw you watching that nasty video. He saw you on that Instagram model page. And for the sisters, he saw you going up and down Chris Brown Instagram when your husband wasn't around. Because he know what you struggle with. And yet and still, he's so merciful that he continues every day to wake you up and to let you keep going in this truth. Because remember, 2/3 of our people is not going to ever get it. The Most High could have left you with them. Every day we go outside, we see people who are not in the truth, bro. They don't have no understanding of nothing. They on the bus stop with a square in their mouth. They on Instagram in the comments under whoever your favorite Instagram model is, comment heart eyes. You know, they on their last $50 after they done paid their bills, and they spending their last $50 on Christmas presents. Thank the Most High that that's not you. Because he could have left you in that same position that them people is in, but he didn't do that. The Most High gave you an opportunity to renew your mind. Just like he gave me and his brother Shemawah an opportunity to renew our mind every single day. Every time we fall, he gave us a chance to get up. He don't have to let you get up. Think about that. Saul didn't get a chance to get back up. Show me the account of where Saul, the Lord was like, okay, I'm going to let you be king again. I'm going to give you another 10 years. I know, Saul, I know you don't listen to absolutely nothing that I tell you, but you know what? I'm going to give you 10 more years. I'm going to give you another run at the kingdom. He didn't do that. But yet and still, the Most High is giving you more time and more grace and more mercy to try to get it right this time. Because the Lord's thoughts is not our thoughts. This is going to be my last precept. I'm going to read this again, and you got to Shmuel. It's Isaiah 55 and verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. The Most High is better than us in every way imaginable. After all the wrong that we did in our life, he woke us up to this truth one day, and he didn't have to. Hey, it said the wages of sin is death in the book of Romans chapter 6. Every time you committed a sin, you was worthy of death. And yet and still the Most High kept you alive. Think about that. If let's say you're 25 years old, you just came into the truth at 25. That means for at least 24 years, you was breaking the Sabbath. Breaking the Sabbath is worthy of death. In the ancient world, that man, you was finished for that. It wasn't no sorry. It wasn't oh my bad, I forgot. You was done. Committing adultery, you was done. Certain laws in the Bible, and you was cut off from your people for doing it. If you had a familiar spirit, stuff like that. But yet and still the Most High had grace, favor, and mercy on you to be like, you know what, sister such and such, brother such and such, I'm gonna give him some more time to get it together. You know, even though this brother Mawasar folk is dealing with X, Y, and Z spirit, I'ma still give him an opportunity to serve me. I'm still gonna increase him in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Even though this brother Shema is dealing with such and such spirit, I'm still gonna wake that man up and give him the opportunity to continue in this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that I got for him. I'm still gonna give him an opportunity at my kingdom. Because my thoughts are not his thoughts. You never know. Just think, and I'm gonna leave y'all with this before I pass this, brother Shema. You might be one of the most perfect people that the Most High has created, and you just don't know it. Not perfect in the flesh, because that's not possible. But you might have one of the most perfect hearts that the Most High ever created. He might see you as, hey, this brother Shema, I love this brother right here. Every time he fall to this, he returned right back to me. He confessed his sin right to me. Watch this. And such day, whatever day in 2024, 2023, hey, this brother Shema, hey, he gonna fall to this. Watch what he do as soon as he falls to that. He not gonna be like Saul. He gonna be like David. He gonna be like all the other righteous men in the past. When they did something wrong, they confessed their faults to me. What parent wouldn't want their child to come to them and be like, Dad, Mama, I messed up. You know, I was supposed to do this like you told me, and I did it the other way, and now I'm jammed up. It's my fault. You think the Lord don't want to hear that? So like I say, the Lord's thoughts is not your thoughts. The Lord might have your name in the book of life, sealed already. He might. So what's the point of sitting there beating yourself up about, oh man, you know, this, and that, this, that, and the third? Hey, just keep going. It says enduring to the end and you'll be saved in Matthew 24. You think you're going to always feel like enduring? You think you're not going to fall a few times? When people run these marathons, man, if you ever watched one of them 1,000 whatever marches and all that stuff, hey, people be fainting all over the place. They got to get carried by other runners. But it's just about making it to the finish line. You got to renew your mind. You can't think the same way you thought in the world. You can't do that. We are in the truth. This is the truth. Understand that this is the truth. There is no other truth outside of this. And yet the Most High picked you of all people. Think about your family. How many people in your family got the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that you got? How many of them people know the Bible the way you know it? How many of them people is actually neglecting these wicked holidays like you doing it? Right? Salaki, I got one more precept out. Just one more. I want Jeremiah chapter 3. And then you got it after this. You got to understand how amazing it is to be in the truth. Because the Most High could have picked anybody, literally anybody, but he picked you. It's Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 14. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you. I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. Out of a whole city, you take one person. Now we understand that this is not literal, but think about that. Think about the reference that the Most High decided to use. Out of an entire city, one person. Imagine if that one person that he was talking about is you. Imagine if out of your whole family, man, listen, especially us, the Judites, man, we be having 1,000,000 cousins. How many of your cousins is in the truth like you are? So you got to renew your mind. You got to understand, hey, the Most High picked me for a reason. You think the Most High is slow? You think it was an accident? Show me the account in the Bible where the Lord said, oops, didn't mean to pick him. So, hey, we got to keep going, man. Ain't no time to be sitting around crying and whining and woe is me. Hey, we got work to do. We got a kingdom to get, man. We got a kingdom to get. We don't have time to sit around with the sad face and all that. You got to just renew your mind. You messed up. Okay, get up. I tell my son all the time, when he fall and he want to sit there and cry, hey, stand up. Sometimes you got to tell yourself, get up. Get up stand up on your feet. You can't just sit down and cry all the time, man. What you got is my wall. That's my last precept, though.
Come, brother, bringing it out, man. Yeah, get up, man. You know, you're not a toddler. Just get up. You know, you may be a child in the Lord's eyes, but you know, in the flesh, you grown as man. It's life with the language. But I got First Kings chapter 2, verse 1, right? It says, now the days of David drew nigh that he should die. And he charged Solomon, his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong therefore, and shew thyself a man, and keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways. Renew your mind. Walk in the Lord's ways. You have to keep the charge of the Lord. How do you know if you're walking in the Lord's ways? You have to examine yourself. Because you may be walking in your own way and thinking that the Lord accepts the way how you're walking when he required you to walk in his ways. It says to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses. You got to go back to the law. You gotta cut down the spirits that's weighing you down through the spirit of the Lord, because the Lord put those spirits on you. He could take it off you. But that's only if you humble down, take a step back, and see what's going on within you and adjust yourself through the spirit of the Lord. It says, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself. And you see all things, all hell breaking loose, you're falling short, you know, just everything is just calamity. But if you take a step back and realize it's you, realize that I'm not walking in the way of the Lord, realize that I'm our own worst enemy. You know, you take that sit down, examine yourself, set a schedule, you know, one day at a time, you know, and see if you actually, you know, walk in the ways of the Lord and walk yourself in the ways of the Lord. But you only can do that if you read, you know, you only do that if you know, study. You can only do that if you think upon the Lord, you pray to the Most High. You know, you can't pray to yourself. That's what these Christians think. Yahweh Shah was praying to himself. That's literally what it is. He was doing all these miracles. He was increasing. Yahweh Shah examined himself. What makes you think Yahweh Shah didn't examine himself? He was in the flesh. What makes you think he didn't examine himself? David had to examine himself. The Lord, through David, is telling Solomon, hey, keep the charge of the Lord, you know, and walk in my ways, man. You walk in my ways and keep my commandments, my statutes, and my judgments, and you're going to prosper in everything you do. And the Lord is not a liar. Next thing you know, as you start to organize yourself, organize your household, you'll be able to organize the sheep because you're doing it behind closed doors. This is a behind closed doors thing. This is not up front. This is not you renew your mind when you at camp and you shaking the hand. No, that's not when you renew your mind. This take Close the door. You probably got to shut the lights off and light a candle and look within you and see what the hell is wrong with you. Your wife can't do it. Your mama can't do it. Brothers to a certain extent, but you still have as you in the Most High. Because at the end of the day, when you come up to the judgment seat of the Lord, it's you and the Lord. It's you and the Lord. And on top of that, you got you got a lot of things that's gonna happen in the future. Probably next year, so called next year, right? A lot's going on. All hell can break loose. The hell that's worse than the hell we in now. Right? So you gotta endure a lot. And if you're not renewing your mind, building up your faith, you're gonna get caught out there. Right? And then all the works that you have, it's you may not even think it's enough because you know you could have done more. You know you could have did this. Dang, why I say this or why ain't I could have, you don't know I could have, should have, and I wish and got regrets, and now you in front of the Lord and you just looking like a sick man, like you peed on yourself, you know. So I'm gonna read that again. It says, verse 2, I go the way of all the earth, be thou strong therefore, and show thyself a man, right? Show thyself a woman, a man, and keep the charge of the Lord, right? It says, and keep the charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies. So in order for you to keep the charge of the Lord, you have to take away the charge of yourselves. You charging yourself to do things that's contrary to the Lord, unintentionally or intentionally. If you're doing it intentionally, hey, you gotta check yourself. But all praise to the Most High. You got out.
Man. So with that, we're gonna close up. Or just remember that this is all about just renewing your mind. The Most High, I mean, I wish I could express in words how great this opportunity is, the fact that the Most High got you in the truth. There are people who will never know the truth. There are people, it's people in your family, they're gonna be celebrating Christmas until the Lord come back. And they're gonna get caught out there. It ain't gonna be nothing they can do. So we gotta really remember, like, this opportunity that we got is so beautiful. The fact that we know the things that are pleasing to the Most High. Let me get that, and that's my last precept. Let me get Baruch chapter 4 and verse number 4. That, like, the fact that the Lord gave me the opportunity to know exactly where to go in the Bible to bring out the point that I want to bring. That's such a beautiful thing. Renew your mind and let go of all that old stuff, man. We on something new now. Forget the streets, forget the club, forget the holidays, forget all that stuff, and just do something different. We on something totally different. You're not Keisha no more. You're not Davion no more. Let it die. You're not Tashika no more. Whatever your name was in the world. We on something different now. It's Baruch chapter 4 and verse 4. O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to Yahweh are made known unto us. The same God that created heaven and earth made it known unto us, the Israelites, which is you, which is the brother Shemawal, which is me. He made it known to us how to please him. Think about that. Esau don't know how to please the Most High. Elam, people in the world, they don't know. They don't have a clue. And yet the Most High revealed exactly to us how to please him. We know exactly what we got. We know that we got to keep the commandments and keep the faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, and we can get saved up out of here. It's people who think that all they got to do is go to church every Sunday and they going to be saved. It's people who believe that. So you got to renew your mind to understand the position that the Most High put you in. You got to work out your salvation. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for another beautiful video. Kwame Yasharallah and Shalom.
Kwame Yasharallah. Praise the Most High.